the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Sounds like
Okay, so thanks everybody for coming. We did get the information after the last town board meeting from Matt reviewing the timeline that's needed for the information you received. You should have received the notice of public hearing. Did everybody have a chance to review that? Okay, and the next piece was the proposed local law. And it's the proposed local law or resolution to work towards a local law. So at this point, what we need is if everybody's had a chance to read this one, it's the resolution introducing proposed local law providing for flood damage prevention to the town of Salem. So we start this process, okay? So at this point, we need a roll call vote to move this forward. Do we have a motion to start that?
Make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
What are we agreeing to? Because a lot of that was like really not to.
Okay, we've been working on this for 4 years.
Right.
So, what we did was we had, I think it was 3 public meetings where, people within the town of Salem, town of Jackson, town of Hebron came here and worked with FEMA. They worked with DEC. They worked with Washington County, flood hazard, and they reviewed this, what was being proposed at that point. This is still a proposal. Okay, but they were taught how to do a LOMA, which was and it's a hard thing because it makes the household responsible for their own LOMA. It's not done at government level, it's done at the household level. So that household, take for instance, our house, in order to get us out of the floodplain, our front steps go up about 8 steps, which then puts it above the elevation of surface. So I could go do a LOMA, and I probably will. I haven't done it yet. But that's what individuals have to do in order to get off the floodplain. What this kicks in is if you have a mortgage, or if you're trying to buy a house with a mortgage, then it's going to require flood insurance. Okay. So it's going to be a different dynamic because usually people in the town of Salem have got flood insurance after they've been hit with a flood. This is going to be prior to, and it's the new FEMA regulations. And that's where we're at. So, any questions?
Can I ask the question about the actual law that you guys are proposing? Because there's some questions I have. Which if you do a resolution to adopt, to put this to public hearing, I just was wondering with a couple of your sections, 4.0 administration, designation of the local administrator. It has 4.1, the town code enforcement officer. The town doesn't have a code enforcement officer.
Yeah.
We use the county. If the town has a compliance officer and he has absolutely no enforcement, he works with the planning board when we have an issue. We send him out to take a look at it. He's our liaison between the planning board and the county. So he goes to, if he sees something, he calls Theo or directly to the county and has the county come out to look to see if it's in. Under that, or does that mean that the town code enforcement officer is the county? That was kind of unclear to me, and that's
So-
under 4.1.
So what Kim's talking about is everybody received a letter from Matt Fuller. And it says, and I replied back to him on this, exactly what Kim just said. Because in that letter, it says, please note, your particular draft local law may have a blank in section 4.1 as to who is going to act as the local administrator. You need to decide who that is going to be in terms of a title position, i.e. the code enforcement officer, if you have one, or the town supervisor, which I don't do that. And also neither does Mario, quite frankly, it gets sent to Delaware Engineering, Tracy Letter reviews it. The, landowner pays the fee, which is 30 or 35, not that.
$30, but your local code enforcement officer, which goes to the next thing, the responsibilities of this local administrator that you have are quite significant. If you look at what he has put in, what the law says, and then historically, the town is dependent on county code enforcement. They handle all aspects outlined at 4.4 and 5.0 general structures. However, the law now stipulates these responsibilities and duties will be undertaken by the town code enforcement officer. So is the town proposing to take over the typical duties of Washington County code enforcement?
No, and then I sent this back him to the lawyer to have him
So do
review.
we have a newly revised law showing that that's been changed?
This is the, this is what we're working on tonight. Is only that. Okay, this law, he is gonna put into effect. the
This
information.
law. The law.
You wanna read this?
Is that a resolution?
This is the introduction of the proposed local law.
Yeah, you have to pass a resolution, that's all you gotta do, like, you don't put anything with a local law to the hearing.
Okay, whereas an updated local law has been drafted, that's what you guys, so you drafted this law, you're proposing to put this forth to public hearing. That's what you're doing tonight, you're putting forth this law, so this law has to be correct, I would assume, before you can propose to put it forth to public hearing. Would be my understanding, that you can't put forth a resolution for a draft local law if your draft local law hasn't addressed to also with variance procedures, what do we do outside of the zoned area? What do those people do with appeals? Can the ZBA have the authority to overturn determinations by county code enforcement? And if so, how does that process work? Additionally, what actions can the aggrieved individuals outside the zone district of the town of Salem take? It doesn't address anybody outside the zone district that might fall under this flood. What the requirements are under your flood law, and they're specific on what they have to do to obtain a building permit. If you guys have looked at that, what the structure has to be. Your local administrator is issuing your certificate of compliance. And is it possible for a zoning board of appeals to make decisions regarding the properties that lie outside of its jurisdiction? So if there's something outside of the zoned area, i.e. Tom, you're not in a flood zone, but I'm using you because I know if you have to go through this process, you want to build something, it's in the flood zone. And you're aggrieving it. The law states that you can go to the ZBA, but we're not a fully zoned area, we're only partially zoned.
And that's what I wrote to the attorney. Unfortunately, I cannot open my
Okay,
email. And so uniform code in, for building within a FEMA has to be done through the Washington County Code Enforcement. They set that standard, which, so the zoning board of appeals, what I wrote to the attorney is that it's only in the hamlet of Salem, that only is in that. The zoning board of appeals is an appeal place, but it doesn't do outside of that hamlet. So then it would go to, at that point, to get a variance, it would rely on building code, which is John Graham in the Washington County Code Enforcement. They have to put in building standards.
but the question is on, if it's in the zoned area, and again, I don't know the answers to this, that's when I read through it, I just got it today, so I apologize, my notes aren't very good. I can give you,
I think I sent it to you, Kim.
and again, I don't have access to it, I have to talk to Tom about that, I use Salem Planning Board at gmail.com, so I didn't get it, at all. Well, I
You don't have it, yeah.
I have some access, but I can work with Tom, that's not a problem at all to do that.
This all pertains to just new construction in this floodplain,
It,
or would it be?
Yeah, it's brand new because the laws.
it's, this has been going on for about 5 years now. Okay, so it's not this, It's-
It's still.
Yeah, it's been going on for about 5 years now. Quite frankly,
But they haven't.
I politically, I don't see that, but it's something we have, I don't see any others to. I see a lot of negative.
Like 5.2 dash 3 utilities. I know when I lived in Archibald, you get flooded.
Right.
My panel box
Yeah.
was closed, it never went under, but it's closed.
Yeah.
It says on here, the panel boxes that have to be waterproof, basically, the way I read it.
Right.
Now they're getting for every house in town.
No, that's, everybody's grandfathered in.
Okay.
At this point, it's moving forward.
Yep.
So if you were to go to new house construction, like, last year, there were 6 places that we actually had to go back through and look at the floodplain determination to determine if they stayed within the, code regulations for building in a floodplain. So the bigger picture is economically. Okay, what that is gonna do is, I mean, we had a young person that bought a home and did not knowing that their mortgage wasn't going to include flood insurance. Okay, and the cost of the flood insurance for them was $500 a month. And they didn't know that was gonna happen. And,
Out of the absorption.
so, that,
Cash,
Pay cash. Absolutely. And Brenda, there's an awful lot of young people that would like to live in the town, but they add on $500 a month. They might go somewhere else.
That's a lot of people and BEC and everybody telling us what we have to do. Nobody gives us a plan on how to deal with this river coming through. You can't cut a tree, you can't move gravel, or you can't do this.
Right.
How can you give us all these rules and not give us a pathway to correct the situation? It's not.
There's a
fair.
path, there's a path.
Well, it's not fair the way they redrew the map,
Exactly.
Right.
because the map includes
Right.
way too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked to the guy about it, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well,
Yeah, because I came to that when he was
Yeah.
here, and it's like, I'll use the courthouse for example, just for example, they're not in the flood zone anymore, or they are, but Joe Rogers isn't.
Makes
That's,
sense.
it's great.
he got big time flooded, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
I do know what you're saying, because I've gone with a fine tooth comb over all these different
It's
properties.
just bureaucracy.
It's like
It just infuriates me. that
The
people
Georgian.
don't live here and have no say
Yeah.
in the people that.
But there were a lot of people that showed up, Scott, to
Yeah.
these meetings. It was shocking how many people
Anyway.
showed up to the meetings.
Going forward,
Going forward, okay, so,
So, and again, the other thing was, is this law, since county, I'm assuming that you guys are gonna go with county code enforcement.
Yes.
With, as your, does our law, what pertains in here, is this enforceable at the county level? Because it's a town law, and it's not, it's county, and again, I don't know this, so I'm asking.
Yeah.
Have they agreed to fulfill the duties maintained mandated by this law, and are they required to do that? So is town law applicable to, at the county level?
yes, it is.
Okay. So
John,
that's,
John
that's,
Graham's been very closely involved.
okay, perfect. That's just one of the things because,
It's called Uniform Code and Enforcement, I
yeah, so
believe.
that's great. That, again, these are a lot of these questions I don't know the answer to, and it's gonna really fall a lot on the planning board. We do every time we have a new,
but so when it says local administrator, because that's where I was getting stuck. That would be the Washington County code enforcement at that point.
Yes.
We don't have.
But the
right?
permit-
Well, you gotta go through for like an appeal process. Kim's right. I
the
mean,
permit's gotta come
when
from
you
the
go
town
through,
before
like,
you can
depending
put
on
it
where you
in.
live. Okay, so if you live within the town of Salem, that is under zoning, that zoning board of appeals is an appeal board. Okay? It doesn't, the planning board can make determination. The zoning board of appeals, can they make determination? Or do they have to send it back to the town board?
now zoning board, your zoning, your town, your planning board and your zoning board of appeals are completely separate from the town board.
Right.
They cannot, you guys cannot override either one.
Right.
They would have to go for an Article 78 proceedings with the court system. You guys are, you cannot override a planning board decision or a ZBA's decision. The ZBA only steps in if something is denied in a zoned area.
Right.
If
Or a variance, right?
What?
Or a variance.
Well, that's
Zoning
because
board.
they've been denied.
Right.
You have, the process is when it's in the village or the old village entity formerly known as, and you want to do something that is not permitted under your zone. You're out, you can't, the compliance officer automatically has to deny it because it is not a permitted use. Let me use Tom again as an example. I'm sorry, you're my, you're my guinea pig tonight. Case in point, the blockhouse. It's not a permitted use. So in that case, what would happen if we weren't working around things, you know, trying to make the law more reasonable? He would have to submit a zoning application to Mario. Mario's gonna look at the zone and say, no, it is not permitted use. This is a park. Parks are not permitted in park structures. Recreation is not permitted in this zone. Done. So Tom can either say, well, the heck with it, or he can appeal it to the zoning board of appeals, and they can look at it. And they have to do so, they can't just override it for giggles, they can try to get a variance. Variances, depends on which variance you want. Variances should be very hard to get, extremely hard, and what you need, the one you would need is one that states that there's some hardship. Like you can't sell your property because of the way the town has zoned it, it's a hardship, you're being unreasonable. The case is the church on Main Street in the old TD Bank building. That is not permitted, commercial zone does not permit churches in the commercial zone. For very good reason. The 500-100 rule, which states that liquor cannot be sold within 100 feet of a church. The zoning board of appeals at the time gave them a variance. That means from door to door, anything across the street from that can never be a liquor store, cannot be a restaurant that serves liquor, cannot be anything because of the church. That's why you don't put churches in your commercial district. Be that as it may, I have beef with that one personally because I think it did hurt downtown. Luckily, the tavern is door to door, is just over 100 feet, so everything's good there. But that's what the zoning board of appeals is there for, to determine. Okay, yes, you can do it. We can give you a variance. We can give you a use variance, an area variance, yada, yada, yada. Or no, we're going to stick with what our zoning law says. And they have the final determination on that. And then it still has to come back. If they approve it, it still has to come back to the planning board for review. There's ZBA and.
So it's difficult because like the zoning board of appeals, I don't, whether they've had one meeting. I mean, how would they even know what to do?
Well, it's the same people. They've always done it. It's still Pete. I talked to Pete the other day. It's still Pete, Jim, and Deb Hodgkinson. Nothing's happened in the village. Oh, excuse me, entity formerly known as village, that has required, that hasn't been a permitted use. Or, so they're okay. If you want to put it, you will replace your porch. Even undersized, you're replacing something existing, you're permitted to do that. So really, nobody's done anything that we've had to address, other than Tom, but we're getting around him too, so. He blew that out the water, we had ZBA. I know, Tom's my favorite. So those are just questions I had about this, because it's just not clear to me what.
Permit is not a building permit like people bring in now. It's a floodplain development permit is hereby established for all construction, blah, blah, blah. And the fee is supposed to be set by the town board. It's got to be on a schedule that's filed in my office. And that you can charge no more than $500 to cover additional costs if there's anything you have to review after the fact. The permit is a floodplain development permit, which I don't even know what it is or what it's supposed to say.
And that's another good question. Is that what I'm talking about? Sorry.
That's all right.
If I've seen if I would send it.
So what I'm doing is I'm calling Matt right now. See if I have this.
I'm assuming
Even
that
they're going by this.
I'm assuming what they
It's not
mean
right. They
by
They don't care.
So the problem is this is under a time frame. Okay?
Yeah.
And so Kim is absolutely right. This needs to be changed. I have sent a note off to Matt. I'm reviewing. I'd actually like him to review it when he comes back with that, to make sure it's following the procedure of the town regarding the planning. Okay? Because, you know, we want people to have the information they need and not having it be
And,
looking like it's a,
and that you guys, we can enforce it,
right.
that there's something in, there's not a loophole that.
So it has to be clear. It has to be clear. So, but we're still under a time frame. Okay, and this has to be approved, I think July. Thought it was June 22nd, but I think it's July. So,
It's got to be in your permit. We don't have any of this.
Well, I'm assuming that, and again, this is another question for Sue or the board, I'm assuming that our floodplain, the determination, if you will, or whatever you're asking for, is what we get from Tracy.
that's correct.
And then if it comes back, and we rarely get it when it comes back,
Right.
but things may change when those new maps come, nothing is set. in stone.
She's been using the maps that she has. Once these new maps come into place, that'll be probably the end of July. There could be more, you know, but in the meantime, when's the last time you saw a new house go up in the village?
All right, does it affect the outside of the village as well, or?
It affects the whole town.
Okay. And again, if we get something that.
Howard, did you have a question? I can't hear you because I saw, okay. If you have a question, don't be afraid to say so.
Raise your hand.
Raise
No,
your
I'm
hand.
being attacked by a puppy, that was all.
Oh, poor Lily. Is it Lily?
No, about a 4-month-old golden retriever.
Oh, nice, nice.
Well, we gotta see it, how it.
Yeah, pick them up.
Yeah,
Oh,
come here,
the best.
Fennel.
Oh, the best. Lily must love them.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Lily must love them. What's the new puppy's name, Howard?
Fennel,
Fennel, like the vegetable?
yes. It's my sister's dog,
Oh,
not me.
It sounds very cute, very cute. So you've been listening to this and there is definitely steps that need to be taken. And his a letter, he did write, please note, and
Who designs this permit that they're supposed to fill out?
I think we can go with the LRCC one, because that specifically states on the Washington County building permit, is it in a flood zone, is it not?
Right.
If it is, we check it off, then the county steps in,
Right.
and I did give a quick call to Dawn today,
Yeah.
Colliman County Code Enforcement, like, if we check this, because I didn't know, I just.
Yeah.
Or Mario does, she's like, no, then we know we have to do this, this, and this, so I'm assuming that means they do
the building standards, the uniform code.
this stuff in the middle of it, that you have to.
Yeah, they oversee that.
That they go, so grandma doesn't go floating down Main Street.
So what do we have to do tonight? What can we do tonight?
So what we have to do tonight is,
So, Sue, just to interrupt, I was talking with Kim earlier, and Kim suggested that maybe we raise that fee, the $30 fee,
mhm,
because they have to mail it in and stuff. And one of the questions was, will Delaware take a credit card from us?
I can ask that, but you know, it's hard, Howard. I mean, we've had people come in and say, you know I'm not in a flood zone. I am 300 feet above the river, and why should I have to pay $30 so they can tell me that I'm not in a flood zone?
Very simple
So it's
answer.
all these people that are,
Well, we paid 500 at the Georgie,
well, we pay more than that because we have a survey.
right, whatever it was.
That's the problem is that if you feel like you're unjustifiedly being asked to go through this, it's the household's responsibility to hire a surveyor and get off the Loma, which if you remember correctly, we ended up spending, I think it was 2,500 for the survey for the Georgie, but we saved $6,000. Because that was going to be the cost of the flood insurance on the Georgie, the $6,000 for that year. it cost 2,500.
I realize, but what I'm saying is,
The fee.
we're mailing it back to him. Kim's taking time to deal with all this stuff. I mean, you ought to get more than the 30 we're giving them, because we're doing postage and everything else. Correct?
I think,
How can we
I
raise?
think we scan it and send it to her, and she,
No, you have to mail them the check. They will not give us anything without the check.
okay,
The only reason, and again, following up on what Howard was saying, is that even with Mario, I don't deal with him, Mario deals with them too for anything outside of the planning board purview, is that we have to stop, we have to send it in. We can ask the, applicant to mail it in. And I think Mario does that more, so I take it in with the application and mail it in. It's just additional time that the town taxpayers as a whole are paying to pay us to do work for one person. So again, maybe, again, instead of raising that $30, we could talk about not at this meeting, we could do it at another meeting. So you guys, I know you guys probably want to get back out of here. Raising the application fee again on site plan applications.
so I thought the $30 went to Delaware Engineering.
It does, it goes to Delaware Engineering.
Nothing stays to the town. The
No,
30.
but we have to, but what the point is that the time that you're paying somebody to mail it in, get it back, put it in. So it's just kind of, well, I understand, this person knows they're not in a flood zone, and we've had, trust me, we've dealt with it, and our common, as I said, our common answer to the planning board is, well, the town requires it. If you want a building permit, you get it. If you don't,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's it. It's being called being an adult, things cost money and it sucks.
So maybe we better call Delaware
No,
Engineering to find out if their fee is going to be raised, because they've been $30 now for 5 years.
and see if they're gonna, I mean, again, it was just a separate, the reason I said about credit card is that, because I can't think
Well, I
money.
think tonight we need to decide about whether we're going forward with this resolution.
Right. So at this point, this resolution refers back to the local law, and this has to be given to the public.
But can
And what
we
Kim was saying.
modify it with this, once we did a resolution, can we modify it?
So we could include that in the motion. Once it's modified,
Yes,
it'll be for public use.
yes, there you go.
That doesn't mean you're gonna hold a public hearing.
Yeah, we hold a public meeting, not knowing at that point if the modification.
We have to have modifications. They have to be, this has to be available to the public and completion.
This is a law.
You are resolving that the proposed law providing for flood damage prevention in the town of Salem is hereby accepted
It's not for public hearing.
for introduction before the town board, and a public hearing is hereby scheduled. Copies of the local law shall be available in the town clerk's office for review.
It's gotta be put on the website.
So what we could do is do it with a motion and have it available to the public when this is completely done. Otherwise, we're gonna be back in here in 3 days.
Right.
That's the way it's gonna work, because this has to be in the time frame. So,
You're accepting it as it is under that resolution that you gave you.
And I don't have a note or a letter from Matt.
It's a memorandum.
Oh, I said, it's the thing that I couldn't open,
so what I sent you were the 5 attachments.
Yeah,
and
one of them you couldn't open. It
It
was
was
a,
not 3 attachments, I'm sorry. But I didn't include Matt's letter.
okay, as long as that, okay, because I didn't,
Because I downloaded, here's Matt's letter.
oh, I believe you, I just didn't know where it was.
It's good information, you might want to read it. And I'm sorry, I didn't just forward the whole
he sent
email
it
to
to
you.
you, though. I thought he sent it to everybody.
He did, but
From him.
yeah, it's from Matt Fuller. Can you get on the computer?
Monday,
'Cause I
April
can't.
13th, Brenda.
When is it?
Monday, April 13th. He sent it to everybody. Sue, Howard, Brenda, Tom, Scott, and myself.
I go from 12, 13 to 14.
I mean, I didn't get it
No,
on
I'm gonna
13th.
crash, sometimes my stuff gets under the trash too.
It makes no sense to me. The end
No,
of
I got it on the trash.
About things, so I don't know why.
I'm thinking he's doing.
No, he did the adoption, that's what you do in May. That's your adoption of the law in May, so after you have your public hearing, you do the resolution to adopt.
Right, that was on two before. We do the pre-one and I've never
See,
seen
that's
that
on here, maybe it's depending on who is going to, going to handle the local administrator duties.
Which
That's your difference.
the local administration is Washington County Code Enforcement ultimately,
But
but we have Delaware Engineering now, that looks at the floodplain elevations,
Right.
because that way it's done outside the town. And they have the ability to check and make determinations.
You know, I gotta go here, just to make sure.
Well, Jim said you're particularly adopting the plan.
So we move forward with that thing.
So this resolution, we could potentially include this in here, saying once this has been established in local law, it will be available for public use. Okay, and
If we have to permit.
yeah, we'd have to for now. Okay, but in the meantime, that the board's gonna want to review that law after it's written. So before it goes to public. So we can either wait and get this done and meet again next week. Maybe next Wednesday.
Have, you would have done one, a meeting in next week.
Okay, so I
I
think,
don't know anybody else feels, but that's, I'd rather do
He may
one.
not,
Okay.
because it's,
so you,
he's got
if
to
you,
follow the FEMA law. Try having a separate meeting.
so at this point, we can have this revised, doing exactly what, you know, the layout of how you perform the law,
Mhm.
which is what we're missing in here, is how does the town of Salem oversee when it is get a floodplain
Have to
determination?
answer the questions he put in there.
Yeah, so those questions have to be answered. And so, are you all comfortable with coming back next Wednesday and going through it now, make sure that gets this done before then? Is it then, what is next Wednesday?
29th.
And the town board meeting is,
May 13th.
May 13th, so there's enough time to get in the legal notice for a public hearing for the regular town board meeting. Okay, so why don't we do that? Howard, are you comfortable with that?
That's fine with me. I'd rather see it written right the first time, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. We'll plan on meeting next Wednesday, with a
I
completed,
don't think it's gonna be the right amount of time. It can't go in the day after the meeting next week because they won't put it in on it.
okay, so
For the following week, you still.
I'll put it in. I'll get it put in.
So what time are we meeting on next Wednesday?
Oh, no, you gotta.
5:30,
Who you five or?
whatever is works for you two.
Yes,
I mean, I can do either one, so it's up to, I mean, you guys work, so what's best for you?
All right, 5 o'clock.
Five, okay.
5,
Thank you.
5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have Howard, you okay with next Wednesday at 5? In the meantime, I'll call Delaware Engineering and find out about their fee schedule, if it stays the same. And maybe the planning board wants to look at their fee schedule and find out how that could work with on their side of the fence.
Yeah, they said it because it was 25 and all, and they went on 5, yeah, so they probably are due a raise. Or just talking.
Yeah,
I
Sorry.
didn't know
that's,
who set the fee. I
And
think
Delaware,
that
that's a conversation between Delaware, well, all towns.
yeah.
Okay, so I rescind my motion.
Okay, thank you. It's fine.
So take that.
Okay. Do we have any other business to come before the board?
I got a question for Tom, and
Yeah.
he didn't do that, the email that I got. Now I haven't opened it, because it's Nathan Lee, PhD, then you got.
This is one about the flag, is it?
Yeah, a lot of them I just delete.
I'm not, I
I
guess
get
I'm
one
correct.
so much.
I think that's good. I think, Scott, I think it's good you're having somebody look at it.
You sent me one last week and I disregarded it, I got another one this week and I just don't feel comfortable.
What he's.
It's a survey.
requesting
I just deleted it.
Just deleted it. Okay, great, thank you.
And I told him he had to pay, and he said he didn't, and Dave said, oh, yes, he does. He didn't go any further. But this has to do with the.
Good to go?
I'm good to go, but I'm gonna have you, I'm gonna, okay, let's finish up, guys, so that everybody can go home. Porta potties have already been ordered, Snell's delivering them, and Dave rents, marking the spot. Okay, so that's all set. Did you want to go through the rest and explain real quick?
Well, just that, I think we already mentioned it. And I think Howard heard me saying that, like for the blockhouse, the Continental Artillery already has their nonprofit status. So to use them as a fundraising vehicle, so that way people can get their tax deductible donations. We talked to a logger to take down trees, it's all set. We're looking into a sawmill to take care of them, and we have a final set of plans from Bill Green. So
We're moving right along.
we're moving right along. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Hopefully we'll have some estimates pretty quick, and then we can have a goal to shoot for. So,
It's great.
any questions?
I'm going to hopefully get the planning board to switch to make that zone kind of compliant with what's actually has been there since the Revolutionary War. And so that we can get that in, so that you guys can be seeing in front of you too, because we're gonna have to amend that law.
You
which
can
is-
do both properties, right?
I'm gonna do all, but
Hopefully.
the whole thing will be that whole zone, because it's all in.
Yeah.
Medium density.
Yeah.
So that'll be I think.
Public facility.
To be put in as what I'm gonna propose is a special use, which means that it has to come from the planning board, so it gives a little bit more, Joe on Archibald can't designate his house as a park.
While you're going through it, with the zoning, the industrial area, which is the lake properties, okay, it's all industrial. Okay, which we don't have any industry in the town of Salem. Maybe we'll get industry, maybe we won't. But you might want to look at,
Let's see, another thing too, you might wanna look at when those new maps come out is to figure out how to overlay. Because I think that flood
Yeah.
way, that there are two flood, zones.
Yeah.
May become bigger,
am I-
but that's something let's not do it tonight,
When is your meeting?
tomorrow night.
Donna? Yeah.
okay,
So then I will wait till the, May meeting to present it, because then at least the law will be in the works. Cause you guys gotta get that in place, so we can get you signed off on something.
Present it tomorrow.
What?
You want me to present? tomorrow?
No, we wait till then. I
Okay.
don't think you're gonna have a problem, Tom, with anything. When are you planning on building? The ones that,
As soon as you tell us we can.
well, I mean, is it like, did you want to start in June?
No,
Okay,
August probably.
okay, yeah, then we've got plenty of time to get you through the process.
I mean, that's what I'm
Is
hearing.
this under the town of Salem?
Could we talk-
Guys, is this under the town of Salem? Is in the application?
I guess it'd be under the auspices of the town of Salem.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure that, and then there's no, you have to get a floodplain, but you wouldn't have to pay for the.
Yeah. it's
application.
town park.
It's town part, so it's town property. so
Yeah,
it
so,
has to be-
okay, just put forth you don't have to pay the septic, but you have to get the flood
Just before we adjourn, Howard, did you hear from CJ whether he's willing to break the lease? Matt Fuller
I
has
didn't.
not heard at all.
I did not push it yesterday because I was
Yeah.
more or less trying to get us back in the office before he said he was going to talk with Dan, but he wasn't against the idea when I talked to him the first time, but he had to talk to his partner.
Yeah, and he hasn't responded or contacted the attorney after the attorney sent him the letter that we all saw. There's been no contact at all. So
I didn't even ask him about that. Like
I,
I said, I figured better us getting in the office to start
Yeah.
with.
yeah,
The big Howard, Lisa upstairs, she walked by the bill this today, and it's $1,000. There's a bill from NICE that they're gonna shut off electricity downstairs because the bill hasn't been paid.
what, oh, you mean their bill, our bill.
Our bill,
It's made out to the town of Salem and the town of Salem hasn't paid it?
I don't think the bill, we don't pay it, but
Right.
they said, Lisa goes first, it's never been $1,000, so she thought it was weird that it was on there.
Well,
Don't forget to do that.
So the utility, it says town of Salem and it's gonna be shut off?
It says,
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
214 Main Street, collector CB, account number 421 of, $1,618.50. So she assumes that CJ is the one that owes that. And since your account has been disconnected due to non-payment, please contact the 800 number, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God.
So I'm gonna check over
This just gets better and better.
It's not, it must be her, it's not ours, because I'm just in there photocopying and the lights are on.
Her bills are like $50.
Well, the power's on. The
No,
thing-
it's saying that the account is disconnected.
We can't, yeah. How about better? Do you have
Notice on the door when I just came out, so you have to go and turn back on your main
That's
power
a-
switch, because they couldn't get in the building. Well, I have power, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this says an amount of $1,618.50 on 214 Main Street. And it says, sorry we missed you today, but.
Fun. Fun.
But they made it nice.
And I don't read it, because it said something about the main power switch, and I said, well, I don't know what that means, because I made copies and it took power to do that.
And we don't pay power anyway, we don't pay phone and rent anyway, so it's whatever it is.
Right.
That'll be the next hurdle.
But that's just nice
done with
with
the
the
rubber.
amounts they're charging. Mine is $184.
Need a motion?
For
We
me,
have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. We're adjourned. Thanks, Howard.
Howard.
Thank you.
Enjoy that puppy. Come here.
It's